Please leave a message after the tone.
Hello, my name is Adam Sandler, and welcome to So Sandlerous, the Sandman movie podcast. A gabagoo.
Welcome to So Sandlerous, the Sandman movie podcast, a podcast where we discuss the movies of famed kidnapper Adam Sandler. My name is Kerry Jones, and as always, I am joined by my dearest friend and co-host, Matt Wolstenholme.
Oh, thank you very much for having me back, Kerry. Oh, it's great to be here.
I mean, we're here together every single week, so I don't think I'm having you back. I just think it's it's something that we've ingrained to our weekly schedule now.
All right, I'll take that. Mutually important.
Yeah, 100%. No, definitely. I couldn't do this without you.
No.
I could. No, I would have given up ages ago. I can't cope with these movies.
We've given the most emotional Adam Sandler movie so far, the most emotional start to the podcast. Oh, we're on thing, guys.
Do you think this is the most emotional so far?
Yeah, I reckon so. Do you not think? Or
yeah, I guess. I thought the wedding thing would be more emotional than what it was. But yeah, actually, yeah, this is probably the most emotional so far, especially at the end.
Oh, someone's got the onions out at the end.
Yeah. So this movie, Matt, it's Daddy. What's your history with this movie?
Fuck, I've seen this probably 200 times. Like, I watched this probably once a week as a kid.
Yeah,
it's just on DVD. It was just one of them DVDs I had, and it was just always good. I know the jokes always ran through, and then I don't think I've seen this probably since I was like, I don't think I've seen this in 10, 12 years easily.
I think I'm exactly the same. As a kid, it was something that I would quote all the time and watch all the time, like probably on a weekly occurrence. And then haven't watched it since I was about 12, 13. But going back this week, it wasn't what I was expecting.
Oh,
you know?
I see what you mean.
I was expecting my judgment to be a lot more clouded by nostalgia than what it was.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I think mine definitely was then.
Look, no, obviously it was a very funny movie, and there was a couple of funny bits throughout, and a couple of heartwarming bits throughout. But yeah, I don't know how I felt about this.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good, though. It's a difference of opinion this week, then.
The only problem is your podcast scores are going to pull ahead way more than... I don't think I'd give this a bad review. It's just not what I remembered, you know?
No, yeah, fair enough. No, I see what you mean. Just didn't hold up like you thought it would.
I think it held up as a good film, a good movie. But I don't think it hit as hard as what it used to when I was younger.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah.
This week's movie is Big Daddy.
New York. If you want to enter the greatest city on earth, first, you have to get by one person.
Shut up! You shut up! Let's go! I'm waiting on you!
Sonny Koufax had an easy job.
You're a toll collector.
Where you going? You want to take me with you? I guess.
And led a simple life.
The delivery guy's like your best friend.
Come back later today. I'll Indian wrestle you. Okay, peace out.
Until the day
You refuse to move on to the next phase of your life.
She wants different things, you know?
his girlfriend dumped him for someone else.
I found someone.
This old guy?
He has a 5-year plan.
What is it? Don't die?
Now, to win her
I
back,
gotta do something big with my life.
he's getting her a little surprise.
I want you to meet Julian, my son. Our son. I adopted him. Great. Now what?
Now,
You wear a diaper?
Sonny Koufax is finding out
Can I have a nightlight?
Nightlight.
once you adopt a kid,
There you go, all right?
You better give that kid back.
I tried to give him back.
you've got to keep him.
Go back to sleep.
I wet my bed.
All right. Nice and dry.
No more wetness.
Do that thing I talked to you the other day. That one touched the ground. That one touched the ground.
Columbia Pictures presents
We stop serving breakfast at 10:30.
No! Oh, please. Don't cry. Don't cry. You got a Happy Meal? Can we get a Happy Meal?
Well, somebody get you to the Happy Meal!
Adam Sandler,
It's gonna be fun. You get nervous? Happy Halloween. We got a first timer out here. Do the right thing, buddy. Hang out right here for a second, all right? Hey, you. What?
Big Daddy,
Yeah, that's it. Okay, yeah, that's good. Trick or treat. Next year, be prepared, moron.
Big Daddy is a 1999 American comedy film directed by Dennis Dugan and Frank Tim Herlihy and Adam Sandler. It stars Adam Sandler, Joey Lauren Adams, Jon Stewart, Rob Schneider, Cole and Dylan Sprouse, and Leslie Mann. So we have obviously Adam Sandler. He's back. He's the reason that we're doing this whole podcast as Sonny Koufax. But returning, we've got Dennis Dugan, who previously directed Happy Gilmore, and he was in Happy Gilmore. Has he directed anything since?
I don't know.
I don't think so. Because Frank Perazzi
Did he only do the two at the start?
No, since we've spoken about Happy Gilmore.
Oh, sorry. Has he done anything else?
Because Frank Perazzi did The Wedding Singer and Waterboy, and then we had Dirty Work, which was Bob Saget. So yeah, I think Dennis Dugan's back for the first time since Happy Gilmore. Tim Herlihy obviously writes everything with Sandler.
Gets a shout out in this movie as a character.
He's in this movie as well. As he's in this movie twice, I think, as two separate characters. And then,
oh, nice.
Steve Frank. Have you seen the TV show Psych?
Nah, not even. Don't know what that is.
It's a TV show, and the guy he's like works with the cops, and he's a psychic and NCIS type show, but funny But yeah, he's written a lot of the Psych episodes throughout the years. And then Joey Lauren Adams, she is... What's her name?
Only thing I think I remember seeing her in is in like Chasing Amy, and that's a fucking weird movie.
I've never seen Chasing Amy. That's Kevin...
Well, that's not a movie I'd recommend. Yeah, for one like week, I went and watched every single Kevin Smith movie, and then... Because I love Kevin Smith. Clerks is probably one of my favourite films ever, but Chasing Amy is... fucking weird.
Oh, she was in Coneheads.
Was she?
Coneheads as Christina. She was in Dazed and Confused.
Wait, she's a repeat. Who is she in Coneheads?
Somebody called Christina.
Not in this. Who the fuck is that?
Don't know. No idea. Chasing Amy nominated for a Golden Globe. Big Daddy this. Dr. Dolittle 2. She was the squirrel. Jane Silent Bob Strike Back. Yeah, so she's been in a lot of Kevin Smith stuff. And then a lot of stuff in her later filmography don't even have a link on Wikipedia.
Fuck knows. Yeah, I literally can't think of anything I know her in other than
James
this and
Bob.
Chasing Amy. And Jane Silent Bob then.
And then Jon Stewart, he was on the Daily Show. He was the anchor on
for
that
like
for
16 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now it's
fucking love Jon Stewart. He's hilarious, and he's great in this. Actually, he's not really in it a lot, but he's very good in this.
Rob Schneider, he's back from last week.
Fucking easily my favorite character in this.
Yep,
I think it's between two. He's so good in this.
Dylan and Cole Sprouse, so they're playing dual roles. Probably most famous as Zach and Cody, but they also appeared in Friends as Ross's kid. And
they're Ben.
And Cole Sprouse is currently in my favorite TV show, Riverdale.
Fuck me, we've got 2 weeks in a row. We had a Riverdale reference,
and then Les, very famous actress. Well,
she's in a bunch of stuff. Watch the Knocked Up.
She's coming back in Funny People.
Yeah, she's in this. Yeah, she's not only in this, and then
I think so.
It's not. Yeah,
but it's Leslie Mann. I'll just get Yeah, so she's in
'Cause
Funny
she-
People, 17 Again, Beverly Hills Chihuahua, Drillbit Taylor, 40-Year-Old Virgin, just
Drillbit Taylor. Fuck me.
anything
Wasn't that in a while?
Judd Apatow has written or directed. Also in this movie, we get the typical cast of Sandler's friends as well who pop up throughout.
Yes.
So, Matt, you this week have found a plot synopsis online, and what we are going to do is you're going to read me that plot synopsis, and then I'm going to decide whether we curb that blurb. And by curb, I mean if it's a shit plot synopsis, I'll take it outside, make it bite the pavement, and kick it in the back of the head. But if it's a good one,
Well,
we'll let it walk.
it's allowed to go free with all its teeth.
Yeah. I was actually on the curb stomping Wikipedia this week.
Jesus, how was that?
It wasn't very nice. It happens a lot more than you'd expect.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, there's a little incidents tab, and yeah, it happens all the time.
Right. Well, just so everyone's aware, there's apparently a curb stomping epidemic happening globally. Please stop curb stomping people. It's only the blurbs, not the people. And so, Kerry, I'm now going to read you this blurb, and you're going to have to decide if you're going to curb stomp it or if you're going to let it walk. Okay?
Matt, where did you find it from?
So I found this on a definitely legitimate streaming site that I watched this movie on.
Hey, you got to give back to the arts. You got to give back to the arts.
You have to. So, Kerry, Big Daddy. Unreliable and unmotivated 32-year-old bachelor Sonny Koufax lives in New York City and declines to take an adult responsibility. Although he has a law degree, he refuses to take the bar exam and works 1 day a week as a toll booth attendant. That is the blurb. Would you like to curb stomp that blurb, or would you like to let that blurb walk free?
But that's a curb stomp. That is 100% a curb stomp.
Well, that's not a curb stomp.
First of all, he's not a bachelor. He has a girlfriend
Good
at
point.
the start of the movie. And
That's very true.
Then they break up, and then within, 2 days, he's already hitting on Layla. So
Yeah,
he's not a bachelor. He's basically shacked up throughout this entire movie with 2 different women. And then the start of this movie is just a phone call between Sonny and his dad.
Yeah.
And the phone call is talking about how he's taken the bar exam and he's refusing to work as a lawyer, how he's a bum, and how he works in a toll booth 1 day a week. So that plot synopsis there literally just described the first, 50 seconds of the movie? And it lied.
All right, so I think we both are in agreement there of what should happen to this blurb.
Yeah, we are gonna kick that in the back of the head and knock out all its teeth.
Fuck it up. Because it's literally the first 30 seconds of the movie and doesn't tell you anything about what's supposed to happen or anything that might happen or is alluded to.
No, that's
dog shit.
Because I mean that stuff does come back up throughout. It's for like the first 20 minutes, I guess.
Yeah. It's literally just the plot synopsis they've written here is essentially saying this man is lazy but has a law degree.
Yeah.
And works 1 day a week. I don't know if that really grabs you into the movie.
No, we're curb stomping that. We are
straight up. Not even a question.
So, Matt, I have also found some reviews online. So this review came from The Guardian in 1999. So this guy here, Philip French, he probably went to the London premiere and he watched this movie in the big screen, and this is what he wrote about this movie. He hasn't given a star rating, but I think we can figure it out by what he's written. So,
well, that doesn't sound positive.
Even worse than The Waterboy, Big Daddy casts Adam Sandler once again as a babyish misfit. In this case, a law school graduate of great brilliance who sees his contemporaries getting rich and settle while he works 1 day a week as a toll booth clerk and watches sports on TV. He's redeemed by having to care for a 5-year-old orphan, cue and end a succession of jokes about peeing, and proves himself a caring father. This time out, Sandler is not just unfunny, his character is a mean-minded, insensitive bore, and the way he terrorizes a middle-aged man who won't trick-or-treat to Halloween could have been used as a training short for Hitler's brown shirts.
Jesus fucking Christ. I mean, I was with him until the last line. I mean, fair enough. There's some stuff in this movie that, yeah, you won't agree with, and his character is a bit of a piece of shit. But fuck me, he's not a Nazi. Jesus Christ. This guy from The Guardian needs to fucking have a word with himself. Fuck me.
Oh, yeah. So, what do you think? Do you think Sonny Koufax is the Nazis just for terrorizing?
I don't know. I mean, he might be a couple of notches below. I don't know if he's quite on their level.
Yeah, I agree there.
For half kidnapping a child that has been essentially delivered to him by a random person in the street.
Yeah, it was a kid who was paid $5
to literally just bring him a child.
This guy is called Philip French, though, so I think he does have a problem with the Nazis.
Philip French is a shit name. That's a proper shit name.
As well as critics' reviews, which, I mean, when we're doing Sandler films, all critics' reviews are just going to be shit.
Oh, yeah, like...
berate him for nothing.
Not getting any good critical reviews, especially in the early days.
I've also found some audience reviews. So this one is a 1-star review from Adam Frost of Vendrick. And he says, I wish there was some kind of specialized brain surgery I could get to forget that I ever saw this movie. It's sad when Rob Schneider is the saving grace of something.
I agree. I agree with the Rob Schneider thing.
Yeah, Rob Schneider is the best part of this movie.
Rob Schneider's incredible in this.
And then I got another one here, 5 stars from Kim. And she says, yeah, 5 stars, suck my balls. This movie fucks. Which...
Right.
I think this movie does fuck.
I reckon so.
Yeah.
Say this movie gets laid.
This movie is a fuckable movie. So after hearing some reviews, Matt, how do you think this movie fared on Rotten Tomatoes?
Oh, I don't know. I always thought this one was quite well received.
I'm going to give you a clue. It's basically exactly the same as every other movie we've done so far.
Oh, well, all right. Well,
so we've got
what are the critics give? Oh, it's just, this isn't as bad as that. Surely they can't have rated it as bad as some of the other ones. Like, because this is no, it's like 30s, 30s, 32,
39%.
Okay,
so I think it's in the same ballpark as every star in Sandler film, apart from Going Overboard. And what do you think the audience give this movie, Matt?
At least 70.
74%.
76. Oh, okay.
It was 74. So 74. Exactly the same as every other week. Audience love it. Yeah. Critics hate it. And the audience who hate it are just boring fuckers.
Of course they are. It's just fucking... Well, it's what? It's every single movie. It's not even... It's like... Yeah, it's just fucking... Yeah, I'm not even here to defend Adam Sandler and say his movies are amazing. It's just, it's the easiest tactic in the world. Just be like, oh shit, no, I'm going to write a shit review.
Yeah, I think Adam Sandler's a easy person to bully because he doesn't give a fuck. He doesn't care.
Yes, he's not going to care.
When Adam Sandler comes to movies, I feel like he thinks, okay, what are some funny scenes we can put in, but what's the prettiest location that we can visit for 3 months?
What? Right, where's good? Where's a great location that's still going to be relatively cheap to film on?
See,
apart from this, they're in New York. Is this the first one where they're like just in one place in the city?
Yeah, I think so. I think this is probably the first that's properly shot on real locations as well.
Yeah,
or places that look real. Because it feels like everything else had some sort of heightened reality to it, but this just felt like it was set in New York. It looked very New York. It was kind of darker than the rest of the movies we've seen.
Yeah, so like I would say this is a little bit more realistic than the previous movies. Like there's a little bit of like kind of not make believe, but a little bit of like obviously some camera magic and just a little bit of more believable. Like you need a little bit more believability in the other movies, like The Waterboy and like Happy Gilmore and stuff. It's just a little bit far-fetched, but like is obviously still based in like a realish universe, whereas this is just like it's just New York.
Yeah,
and it's not.
No, I completely agree. This is the first one that feels like it's set in some sort of reality, like ordinary reality. Right. before we get into the movie, box office for this movie, the budget was 34 million. Do you have any idea what it grossed?
This is late 90s. He's thoroughly established at this point, and it's pretty obvious that audiences are going to go and watch his movies. So this did well, I think.
This did do very, very well. This movie did a $234 million at the box office.
Jesus.
And I believe, domestic box office, this was the 7th highest grossing movie of the year.
In 99?
Yeah, so this was number 7. The Mummy was number 8. This made more money than...
This beat The Mummy?
In the States anyway.
Really? Oh, okay. Really though? Fuck.
And then...
That's surprising.
In number 6 was Tarzan. Number 5 was The Matrix. 4 was Toy Story 2. Number 3 was Austin Powers, The Spy Who Shagged Me. Number 2 was The Sixth Sense. And then number 1 was The Phantom Menace.
Jesus Christ. I literally couldn't think of what it was for any... did not know what you were going to say then. And then I was... It makes sense. Wasn't expecting that. That's awful.
Isn't that crazy that
Phantom Menace?
This movie was number 7 for the year, and 6 to 1 are movies people would probably consider classics of the genre, and if not, like the Matrix,
even the movie after this,
yeah, and then top 10,
it's like
and number 9 was The Runaway Bride. Never heard of it.
No,
and then 10 was The Blair Witch Project.
Oh yeah, fair enough.
Oh, yeah.
So you get out of the list of 10 movies, you have 7 absolutely iconic ones, and then 2 or 3 where you might disagree.
So I would say the iconic movies here are probably Star Wars Episode 1, The Sixth Sense, Toy Story 2, Matrix, and The Mummy and Blair Witch Project. Tarzan was coming towards the end of Disney's Renaissance.
I don't know if I agree with Tarzan. Yeah,
because Tarzan was the one just before Atlantis, but it was after your favorite movie, Hercules.
Hey, fucking leave Hercules alone.
Hey, Hercules is a fantastic movie.
Hercules is the second best.
What's the first best?
Lion King.
Oh, okay.
No ifs, ands, or buts. No one's having an argument with me on this. You can accept that fact.
What about Bedtime Stories, Sandler? That's a Disney movie.
Look, we're not going to be biased just because.
Oh, okay.
We'll rate that accordingly when we get there.
So yeah, let's just get into the plot of this movie. So in NYC, fuck's sake,
Cunny so facts.
In NYC.
Oh no. Alright.
Okay.
Good. We're back.
In NYC, Sonny Koufax is a 32-year-old slacker who hasn't taken the bar exam despite having received his law degree, works 1 day a week as a toll booth attendant, and lives off $200,000 compensation from a minor accident. His girlfriend Vanessa threatens to break up with him unless he takes more responsibility in life, as Vanessa is As Vanessa is leaving, we meet Nazo, Sonny's friend and delivery driver. So
yeah, so we obviously get the opening to the movie. We get the phone call we were talking about before, and we hit on that. Him talking to his dad, and he's basically just a waste of space.
Yeah,
doing nothing, existing on a $200,000 settlement he got from it, getting his foot run over by a taxi.
Yeah,
he's living the dream.
He is living the dream. Yeah, 1 day a week in a toll booth, and he enjoys getting lifts home with old men.
Yeah, where you headed?
And then
saved that guy 75 cents on a toll.
Yeah, he probably spent more in petrol dropping this guy off at his house. And then we meet his girlfriend Vanessa. She's an events planner, and because Sonny's a lazy piece of shit, he turns off the alarm, and she wakes up late, and then she's just having a go at Sonny for being a waste of space and not doing a job, and she's like, "Oh, I want to move on in life. we need to get adult jobs. We need to grow up. You're just wasting your life away, and you're pulling me down with you, basically.
Yeah, she is just done with him at this point. She's woken up late for work. She's decided that he's just an absolute loser and just can't be arsed with him at all.
But yeah, and then as she's leaving, Sonny's like, "Oh, we'll just order takeout tonight." And then she's like, "No, we order takeout every night. The delivery guy is basically your best friend." And as she says this, Rob Schneider knocks at the door, and he's like, I got some fudge cake I couldn't deliver. Do you want to eat it?
Yeah, so we get introduced to Rob Schneider's character
Yeah,
here.
he's probably the best. No, he is the best character in the whole movie. After this, his roommate Kevin Garrity is thrown a surprise going away party, which Sonny ruins by turning up before Kevin does, and the good surprise is wasted on him. And then
I always felt so bad for him in this scene.
Who?
For Adam Sandler's character, because he just basically comes home.
Yeah,
and just gets loads of shit for no reason.
Yeah, he just turns up, and yeah, good surprise wasted on him. And then Leslie Mann's character, Corinne, she's pissed that everybody wasted a good surprise on Sandler. And as they're arguing, Kevin just walks to the door, and a guy looks at him like, "Oh, surprise!"
Just the one guy, just, "Hey, bro, how's it going? Surprise!"
And then Corinne is super pissed off, so she goes and.
This is what I mean. She's just like looks at him and just like, "We wasted the good surprise on you." And I was watching this, and I always watch this thinking like, "How the fuck is that his fault?"
It's not his fault. Yeah, so she goes and. But
you've also just given loads of shit.
And then she's so annoyed, she just goes and hides in the bathroom for just to sulk, really. But
yeah, she just goes for a cry and just.
Also in the scene, we get Alan Covert and Peter Dante as Phil and Tommy, and Jonathan Lochran as Mike. In this movie, yes. Dante and Covert, they are gay lawyers. And then
I honestly I reckon he just made them gay in this movie just because he could. Just because he's Adam Sandler.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Just because he wanted his mates to do gay characters. I 100% reckon they did that.
Yeah, I don't think back in 1999 they would have included gay characters to be inclusive.
It's not exactly the most the 90s move in the world.
Yeah, he would have just included them just to be like, you guys got to be gay.
Yeah, because in this, like, it's Jonathan Lochran's character.
Yeah,
I don't think he has any lines in the movie, but he just makes like random, just not like disgusted faces, but like he's clearly only just gotten used to like his two best friends being gay with each other, and he's just like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, but they've been gay for like 10 years together, haven't they?
I think it's only recently. I think they've all been friends for so long, and then like they only became gay together recently, because they say in the movie like you were all best friends, and then these two like fell in love later on.
Oh, right, okay.
But, yeah.
Oh, Jonathan Lochran does say he says something like, doesn't it freak you out that that these guys are gay?
Oh,
what did he say?
He mentioned something about when they used to be at uni.
Yeah, and then like, oh no, it's exactly the same except they shower together now.
Yeah.
And then when Corinne is in the bathroom, we're introduced to her sister Layla, who's the love interest in this movie, and she's just
we get Joey Lauren Adams' character,
and then she's just like, "Oh, don't worry about the party. That time we had a barbecue and it started raining, so Dad had to make 500 burgers in a frying pan. Like he didn't let that get him down. Just come out and enjoy." And she's like, "Okay, I'll come out and enjoy." And then
fucking Jesus feeds the 500 with fish and bread.
Yeah. And then towards the end of the party, Kevin proposes to Corinne before he leaves to China to work at a law firm, and she's like, "Yes, I'll marry you." But as Kevin's going to make the announcement, he's like, "Ladies and gentlemen, can I have your attention, please?" And then he's just going off. He's like, "Yes, I'm moving to China." The same guy who shaved his ass for a $5 bet. And then he's just going on. And then Sonny Koufax, Adam Sandler's character, goes, "You're not gonna propose, are you?" And then he's like, yes, I am.
Just completely ruins everything.
Completely ruins Corinne's special moment. And Corinne works at Hooters as well. Well, she used to work at Hooters.
Yeah, it's brought up in this movie the entire way through how she worked at Hooters when she was at medical school.
Yeah, throughout this movie. And then after
she fucking hates it.
after they get engaged, Sonny and Kevin, they have a conversation on the roof. And then they're like, oh yeah, we've grown up now. Like it was fun when we were in college, but this is the way that life needs to go. And then then he's like, can you please stop calling Corinne Big Boobs McGee? She's a doctor now, so it's Dr. Big Boobs McGee to you. And then Sandler sings the putt, Happy Gilmore style, and then this massive fucking rat just comes out of the hole.
Yeah, he puts the ball down the hole and this rat just crawls straight back out.
Nothing really
so
much.
Gross.
So in that party scene, apart from the engagement and just learning that Sandler and Corinne hate each other, not much really happens. The next day after the party, Sonny wakes up to find Corinne cleaning the place because he is a useless piece of shit. So if she didn't clean it, everything would be dirty forever.
Yeah, he just like wakes up on the couch like the middle of the day and she's already there at like it's not her apartment and she's just there cleaning up because he's just a piece of shit.
And then as she's cleaning, there is a knock on the door and we just get this guy with a kid and the guy's like, oh yeah, they come give me $5 to bring him up here, and then this kid is just thrown into Adam Sandler's life.
This is so weird.
Yeah, completely weird. I don't understand why it was.
I don't know how this happens.
No, same.
Like, because how did the kid get there?
So I'm guessing his mother brought him down, found out where Kevin lived, and then just found a kid on the street. Like, I'll give you $5.
Do you reckon it was just her? Just was like, oh fuck it, I can't see him. Just send him up.
Yeah, I reckon so. So this kid is called Julian McGrath, and he's a 5-year-old. He's just left at their apartment. A note states that his mother is no longer able to care for him, and that Kevin is his biological father. Sonny contacts Kevin, who is puzzled by the news. But Sonny assures him he will take care of Julian, and then he rings social services.
Yeah, we get this scene, and he calls Jon Stewart's character Kevin, and he tells him, "Oh, there's a kid here. Like, this woman has your kid. Apparently, it's your kid. You need to come home. Like, or we don't really know what's going on." And he's like, "Is there really a kid there, or is this like the time you called me and told me both my parents were dead?" Fucking savage, Brian.
And then we found out the mother's name. I can't remember her name, but say that it's Sarah. And Kevin's like, I don't even know a Sarah. And it's like, kid, where are you from? Like, I'm from Buffalo. It's like, I've never been to Buffalo. So Kevin doesn't fully believe that this kid is his. And then Corinne's trying to speak to this kid as well, but because he's super shy, he doesn't say anything. And then Corinne's like, "What's wrong with him?" He's like, Sanders like, he just doesn't like you. Leave us alone.
I love how no one questions this. Just this fucking 5-year-old kid turns up out of nowhere, and she knows Adam Sandler's character at this point really well. Like, she knows that he doesn't know a 5-year-old. Doesn't question it.
I like in the scene how Sandler's speaking to Kevin, but he's pretending that it's his Uncle Remus.
Uncle Remus, yeah.
It's like, I know Uncle Remus. Catfishes are huge. And then at the end of the scene, Sandler just rings social services, and we find out that the social services is closed for Columbus Day.
Yeah, so he just has to figure out.
He's stuck with his kid for the day. So here, my notes have just gone off track. Okay, so I've got my next note is crossing the road. So they decide to. Adam sounds like on Wednesdays I like to go to the park to watch rollerbladers fall over. So as they're walking to Central Park, we get the scene where they're walking and then they get to a road. Sandler walks forward and then Julian's just there like, I need you to hold my hand.
Yeah, it's just arm outstretched, just stood on the pavement.
Yep.
He ain't going nowhere with that hold hand.
No, he needs the hand to cross the road. Then we're in Central Park and they're watching the rollerbladers come around the... So to pass the time, Sandler enjoys going to Central Park and watching rollerbladers eat shit. as they're coming down the hill too fast. So we
Great
see
pass down.
we see a couple of rollerbladers go around and we think, oh, they're going to fall, but they manage to stay up and not fall. So Sandler decides to throw a massive fucking stick in the
Just
middle of the
chucks a
path.
log in the middle of the parkway.
And then, this rollerblader comes down, hits the log, and he just eats shit and just falls into it.
Absolutely fucking sends it just all the way down this massive hill.
And then, so the guy who the voice is provided by Adam Sandler. I don't know if you noticed.
I was gonna ask you because there's one later on as well.
Yeah,
I noticed it later on. I didn't notice this one as much though.
It sounds exactly like Adam Sandler. He hasn't even put a voice on. He just asks Julian, so Julian, do you wipe your own ass? I was like, yeah, I wipe my own ass. I was like, oh, that's good. And then Julian meets Nazo. The back of the apartment, and Julian meets Nazo for the first time. And he just goes, I wipe my own ass. And Nazo's like, oh, me too.
Me too.
And then
it's the how Rob Schneider delivers that line is so good. It's like he's so satisfied with himself when he says "me too." He's so pleased with himself.
Oh, yeah. And then also in the scene we're introduced to Scuba Steve, and Rob Schneider goes, "What does he say?" He's like, I used to have a doll like that once, but my cat bit his head off." Julian is like, what kind of cat would do that? And Rob Schneider just snaps. He just goes, "You calling me a liar?"
Just loses it.
And then,
oh god, he's honestly the best part of every scene he's in.
He does. He steals the show.
Yeah.
This movie again, it is just scene after scene after scene. There's like a kind of a through line, but it is just because after this we're just in the bar.
Yeah, doesn't really kind of mesh together at the start. It just kind of is. We're introduced to all the characters, and then hijinks occur now that Adam Sandler has to look after a 5-year-old. It's not really much going on. It's just kind of like, okay, let's just watch this like absolute useless waste of space. Try and
deal with this 5-year-old.
Try and deal with this 5-year-old, but in hilarious ways.
Yeah. That's the movie.
That's pretty much the movie.
Then at the bar, they've gone to watch the Jets. The waitress, this is Adam Sandler's wife. They met on this movie, and then she.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then she pops up in everything pretty much from now on. So we're going to see a lot more.
She's just in the background.
Yeah, she has bit parts in like most movies, kind of like an Alan Covert. Maybe not Alan Covert. Like Jonathan Lochran kind of character.
Yeah.
Like there's a couple where she's in it a lot more, and then there's a couple where she just has like one line and she's a hairdresser.
Right. Okay.
You know,
makes sense. Yeah. I mean,
at the bar they've gone to watch the Jets, and we meet Mr. Hurley, who's just this old drunk and named after Tim Hurley, one of Sandler's best friends.
Yeah. So he's named after. He's the director, or is he the writer?
Yeah, so Tim Hurley, he's the writer.
The writer, yeah.
Yeah, and then what does Sandler say? Like, calm down now, Mr. Hurley, like the window like I did last Monday. He's like, last Monday was a fluke. Do that again, woman.
And he's so pleased with himself. He's woman. See that? I just called you woman. What you gonna do about it? And he's so good. This cranky old man in the bar. He's great.
And then Sonny's like, he drinks a lot of root beer.
He's got no teeth.
Then after this, they just go back to the house. Sonny puts Julian to bed, and Julian's like, I can't sleep. So Sonny brings in a nightlight for him, and the nightlight is just a massive sign that says "Live Nudes."
I remember being like a little bit older when I'd watch, I watched this when I was like 11, 12 maybe, and like obviously you know what live nudes is, but I'm just like, I remember being like, the only issue I have with this is that light is way too bright to be a nightlight.
Yeah.
I remember every time I watched this, like, fuck me, how are you supposed to sleep with that thing on?
And then after this, they're just in the park the next day with Tommy and Phil, so Alan Covert and Peter Dante, and Sonny's like, I'm thinking of keeping this kid. And they're like, oh, listen, like, you can't do that. You just can't adopt a kid. You need to think about it. Like, it's a lot of responsibility. Remember that time you wanted to buy a dog? It's like it's a dog, but it's not. It's a human. And they're like, and Sonny's like, okay, I'll think about it. And then straight away he just rings up social services. And he's like, hello, it's Kevin Garrity. I want to keep the kid.
And we get the return of a returning actor.
Do we?
Yeah, in social services.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's true. Arthur Brooks is played by the principal from Billy Madison.
Hey, come back all the way back to see episode 1.
And his name is...
I can't remember his name in this.
No. So Josh Moss still plays Arthur Brooks.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, no.
Yeah, Arthur Brooks is the name of the character.
Character's name, yeah.
And then, he just rings up Arthur Brooks and like, oh, it's Kevin Garrity here. You know that foster family you had? Cancel it.
Is it him he speaks to on the phone here, or does he meet him face to face first time?
No, he speaks to him on the phone, and then he goes into the office later on.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
think.
no, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah,
and
because
then
he goes in after he meets up with his girlfriend.
Yes, that's right. Then my next couple of notes is wets the bed, milk, likes it when Sonny gets hurt, laces.
Yeah. So we just get this scene of him waking up in the apartment, and he wakes up Adam Sandler's character, and he's just covered. He's just piss wet through.
Piss wet through.
So Adam Sandler, Adam Sandler goes in and looks at the bed, and gets this line, and he just looks at this giant puddle on the bed, and he just an eye. That's a shitload of piss. But yeah, so he doesn't really know what to do, so he grabs a newspaper and covers all the wet stain on the bed with a newspaper and just chucks him back in bed. It's like, all right, go back to sleep now. Fuck it.
And then he can't get back to sleep because of all the rustling. So they decide to have breakfast. So Julian pours himself some Cheerios, gets the milk. This milk carton's like 7 liters.
It's like a 4-gallon jug. It's fucking huge.
And then he just drops the milk on the floor. So Sandler covers that with newspaper like he did with the piss. And then Julian starts crying. So Sandler... Oh, yeah, Julian starts crying. And then Sandler stands
he drops
on...
the milk everywhere.
Yeah. Then Sonny, he stands on Scuba Steve, like barefoot. And it really hurts. And then Julian starts laughing when Sonny is hurt. And then they're like, okay, let's go out... Let's go out and get some breakfast. We'll go to McDonald's because we're up early. And then we get a scene where Julian's trying to tie his laces. And it's just like 30 seconds of this kid failing to tie his laces.
Just fumbling around with one shoelace.
So yeah, they decide to go to McDonald's. On the way to McDonald's, Julian's like, I need to pee again. So they go up to this restaurant. Like, and Sonny's like, can my kid pee? And the guy at the restaurant's like, no, customers only. It's like, oh, come on, he's just a kid. And he's like, it's not my problem. So Sandler decides Julian's going to piss on the back door of this restaurant.
He's going to piss on the delivery entrance.
Yeah. So
this restaurant, yeah.
So he's there waiting to pee, and he's like, I can't go. I need you to go with me. So Sonny just, I guess, in front of this kid that he doesn't know. And just starts peeing on the wall together. And this is probably the most iconic shot of the movie. This is what's on...
this is the cover, eh?
Yeah, this is what's on the posters on the DVD cover. When you think about this movie, you probably think about that scene where they're peeing on the wall. Yeah, you probably
have this image in your head of them pissing on the wall.
Yeah. And then after peeing, they're walking to McDonald's, and Steve Buscemi as the homeless guy.
I fucking love Steve Buscemi in this.
He's so good in this.
He's amazing.
And then Julian just stops to have a conversation with him.
Yeah.
He's like,
just like,
why are you sleeping on the street? It's like, I made some bad choices in life. Like, why? It's like, when I was in high school, I found this thing called mushrooms, and then I started taking those. Like, why? It's like, and then like, why? Just ask him why to every single everything Steve Buscemi said, and then he's
just garring him on, and he's just having this like this deep crisis talk with himself, just goaded by this 5-year-old.
Oh. And then Sandra's like, "Oh, if you end the conversation, I'll get you a sausage McMuffin." And then he just conks himself out, kind of thing. He just pretends to fall asleep. It's like, look, he's asleep. Then in the McDonald's, Sandler orders breakfast, and then we find out that he's late for McDonald's breakfast because he thought they finished at 11, but it actually finishes at 10:30. And then Julian starts crying again, doesn't he?
Yeah,
because they're late.
Because Adam Sandler's like having an argument with the cashier lady.
Yeah, and then
Julian starts crying.
And then this guy is like, "Oh, nice parenting," and Sandler just goes, "Are you my therapist? Take a walk," and just grabs his fries and just throws them everywhere.
So it just so nonchalantly just grabs this guy's large fries and chucks them straight over his shoulder.
And then Julian's still crying, and Sonny's like, "Oh, do you want a Happy Meal? Do you want a Happy? Will someone get this kid a Happy Meal?"
Just this iconic line of Sandler losing it in Macca's. Will somebody get the kid a Happy Meal?
And then they leave McDonald's. Julian's still crying, and then he's like, "Do you want to see me get hurt? Would that cheer you up?" And Julian's like, "Yeah." So Sandler just decides to throw himself in front of a car.
Jumps onto this running car down the road, and this guy gets out, and he's like, "Jesus, are you all right, dude?" He turns around.
Oh,
next time, kill me.
And then they just
broken.
They're just walking back to the apartment. Julian's fallen asleep, and he just pisses on Sonny.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's sleeping and he's carrying him, and he's just got piss all over him.
Yeah. Then, but back at the apartment, Sonny is trying to watch the hockey, and then Julian just copies him back and forth. He's like, "What are you doing? What are you doing? This is an important game. This is a very important game." And then to distract him, Sonny just gives Julian a load of food, knocks him out. Basically, he's in a food coma.
Yeah, just gives him loads of shit to eat.
And then at the end of towards the end of the game, they're in extra time. There's a penalty to win the game or something, and Julian just comes over with this VHS. He's like, "Kangaroo song." Like, this is the end of the game. Like, this never happened. Like, "Kangaroo song," and like, "Kangaroo song, kangaroo song," and then Sandler just
this
snaps.
Horrible whiny voice.
Yeah, and then Sandler just snaps, and they put on the kangaroo song, and they're like, "I'm a happy kangaroo and I hop all day. I hop."
Oh, it's the worst thing I've ever seen. It's so bad.
The kangaroo is Tim Herlihy.
Of course it is.
And then
fucking hell, that's great.
As Julian's hopping around, he just vomits everywhere.
Oh, it's so great. He just has this giant chunder.
Giant chunder, and then in classic Sonny Koufax fashion, we throw some newspaper on it.
Yeah, I loved how in this I checked this. I wasn't sure. But you can see in the background that all the milk from the morning is still just there under the newspaper on the floor as well.
Yeah,
in the background.
Then after this, to win Vanessa back, Sonny decides to introduce her to Julian. But on the walk to Vanessa's house, Julian needs another pee, and then so he's peeing up against the wall, and these two old women are like watching them in disgust, and Sonny just goes, "What's your name? He'll write it on the wall." and then at Vanessa's apartment.
Look, I love that line so much. I pissed myself when I heard that again. I completely forgot he said that in the movie to them old women. It's so good.
And then when they get to Vanessa's apartment, Julian's a bit nervous, so Sonny pulls out these magic sunglasses. And he's like, "Oh, if you wear them, nobody can see. Nobody can see you. You're invisible. And then when you're ready, just pull them off." So he puts them on. Like, Julian, like, I'm right here. Like, "Oh, I got you." And then, so they go in to see Vanessa, and then at Vanessa's, Sonny discovers that she is now dating a man called Sid. He's an old guy, and he is 36. years older than Vanessa, but she reveals she's like, oh, this guy's motivated, he's intelligent, he's got a 5-year plan. Like, this is the kind of guy that I want to be with, not with somebody like you.
Yeah.
So Sandler's a bit pissed off. Him and Vanessa break up.
Are they not already broken up at this point? I feel like she's broken up with him at this point.
And he hasn't broken up with her. That's fair.
Yes.
And then, so he's not too happy. Like, she's banging another guy. He knocks on the door.
He's like he's good 60. He's not young.
Yeah,
he's not spry.
In the apartment, like the bathroom door is closed, so Sandler's like suspicious, and then he starts knocking on the door, and Sid opens it. Like, oh, thank God, it's just your dad. I thought you were banging my girlfriend. Like, I am banging your girlfriend. And then as they leave, it's like,
this is the best.
It's like, why do you want to be with him? He's old. I want you to think about me when his old saggy balls are.
It's just his old leathery skin, and he's all gross, and he's got old balls. I think that was probably my favorite line of this as a kid.
Yeah, his old saggy
balls, gross.
But yeah. After this, posing as Kevin, Sonny takes Julian to his social worker, Arthur Brooks, telling him that Julian should return to his mother. However, Brooks informs Sonny that Julian's mother died of cancer, and then Sonny decides to raise Julian as his own. So quite an important scene here. Sonny takes Julian back and he's like, I can't look after this kid. Like, this is not what I was expected. Like, you need his mother to take him back because I can't do this. And then we find out that his mother died. And then what does Arthur Brooks say? Like, if you don't want him, he's going to have to go into a relocation center for a while.
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh, is that an orphanage? And like, yeah, but we don't call them that anymore. And then Sonny's like, oh shit, I don't want this kid in an orphanage, so I'll just take him myself.
Yeah, so he just basically says, he's like, I don't want this kid to go to an orphanage. Like, that's horrible. Yeah, is there any way I can just look after him? And he says, we don't really do that. Yeah, he says, oh, I'll look after him until he gets a foster family sorted out. But then he's like, oh, we don't really do that. Why don't we just pretend you never came in today?
Yeah, that's basically it. And then after this, he rings his dad, doesn't he? And he's like,
yeah. So he's obviously made his decision. He's keeping the kid now. He's happy with that. And then he's freaking the fuck out. Who the hell can I call? I'm going to call the only person in the world that hates me more than everyone else.
He calls his dad.
And his dad just fucking berates him.
Oh, yeah. It's like, who the hell would give you a kid?
So you need to give that kid back before you kill one of your sons.
And then they basically get into an argument, and Sonny just hangs up angrily. He just slams the receiver down like 15 times. And then we then Sonny and Julian are having a conversation about real dads and whatnot, and then we just get an emo guy, and Sonny's like, look at that guy. He probably hates his dad.
This little goth guy walking through the park.
And then they're having a back and forth, and then Sonny just shouts at him like, "You're not mad at me. You're mad at your dad." Kind of thing.
Yeah, he's like, I don't blame you for shouting at me. You're not mad. It's not me you're mad at. You're mad with your dad. I forgive you.
Yeah. And then Sonny's like, okay, if you're going to be my kid, like, your name's Julian, but do you even like Julian? What do you want to be called? And he's like, I want to be called Frankenstein. And he's like, okay, your new name's Frankenstein.
5, I'd probably pick Frankenstein for my own name as well. I can't argue with that.
Yeah. I probably would have gone with something like Bart Simpson or something as a kid.
I would have been Stone Cold. I'd have been a wrestler.
And then we just get a montage to a song called When I Grow Up. So we see Julian and Sonny playing baseball, choosing his own clothes, going out for pizza. He's fighting with Nazo. So
yeah,
the sleeper hole thing.
Yeah.
Slingshot. So I was like,
oh my god, I think about this. Fuck, I forgot this was in. This is such a weird scene. So in the movie, in this montage, he gives him like a wrist rocket, like a wrist strapped slingshot that you have like the ball bearings with. And the next scene you see him when he gets him outside, he's like, come look, I did all this crazy shit with the slingshot. And he goes outside and there's just an absolute massacre. And there's just hundreds of dead birds all over the roof. Adam Sandler's just the most this is really well acted because his face in this, he looks genuinely horrified. He's like, okay, give me that. You go inside and do anything else, something, I don't know, just go away.
Oh, there's so many dead birds here.
It's so fucked. There's like 150 dead birds on this roof. They've just been massacred.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Jesus Christ.
And then they continue to watch movies, and then to end this montage, we get the Halloween night scene with where they go trick-or-treating.
Just robs a guy.
Yeah, so Julian's dressed up as the kangaroo, and they're knocking on this door, and then the guy in the house is like, go away. And then so Sonny Koufax goes behind the house, breaks in, basically takes this man hostage, takes him to the door, and like, give him his candy, give him money. Yeah, do you like the look of that watch? Like, yeah, I like that watch. Give him your watch.
Yes, he gives him like a box of cereal, like 10 CDs. He's not happy. What else you got?
I have my watch. So yeah, he basically just robbed this man. This man is the director. It's Dennis Dugan.
Okay, so I saw he was in the movie. He had a cameo. I wasn't sure where though.
And then sounds like, just be ready for next year. Then
Jesus Christ.
After Halloween, we're back with Dante and Covert, and then they're ordering food, and
they're back in the park.
Yeah, Santa's like, what do you want for food? And it's like, I'll have 30 packets of ketchup.
30 packets of ketchup is just the most horrendous thing. You just see him squirting them all out onto this plate and just licking it clean.
Eating it with a spoon.
Oh, so gross.
And then we get the thing that I always tried to do when I was a kid, this spit thing.
Oh, yeah, I tried to do this. After seeing
times.
this in this movie, I've tried this thousands of times.
So Sonny's taught Julian how to spit towards the floor and then suck it back up.
Yeah, so you just basically have one really long strand of saliva, and then you suck it straight back into your mouth.
To see how
it's so weird.
My favorite thing about this scene is when he sucks it back up, but he gets it back into, he just flaps his arm like a little bird.
Oh, the little penguin thing, the little penguin.
I tried. I used to try this constantly when I was younger.
Yeah,
all the time.
All the time. It's so gross as well. It's just the most heinous thing to watch.
And then after the spit thing, Julian helps Sonny find a new girlfriend in Corinne's lawyer's sister, Leia. So they're still in Central Park, and I guess their play is Sonny sends Julian to a woman who's sitting alone. He's like, I've lost my family. I don't know where they are. So the conversation starts there. And then Sonny comes in and is like, oh my God, thank you so much. And then it's supposed to get them to hit off. And then Layla knows who Sonny is. So he's like, Sonny is. And it's like, oh, you know who I am? I'm Corinne's sister. I was there at the party last week. I'm like, oh shit.
Just completely the only person in Central Park that would have known him.
Yeah. And then Sonny's like, oh, do you want to go out sometime? And she's like, oh, no, I can't. I'm like, oh, why would you say that? You're going to make the kid feel like a failure. And she's like, no, I'm sorry, I can't. And then Sonny just whispers into Julian's ear. And then Julian just goes, please, Layla, go out with Sonny. If you don't, I may develop a stutter.
Just the worst lie. Just getting this kid. Yeah, do my dirty work for me, kid. Give me a date.
And she's like, yeah, okay, whatever. And then
what is it she says is like, that is so cheap.
Yeah. And then she goes over to Sonny's house for a date. They're listening to Styx. They both agree that Styx is the best band of all time. So they're starting other stuff. And Sonny lies a couple of times here. He's like, oh yeah, I was once on the road with Styx and they pulled me on stage and got me to do the voice of Mr. Roboto.
A solo and like a...
like, oh my God, really? It's like, no, I lied to you. And then he says another lie, like, "Oh my god, really?" And it's like, "No, I lied again."
He's like, but seriously, though, like, one of my best friends is like is good friends with like the drummer in the band.
Yeah. And then Julian crashes the date because he can't sleep. So Sunny and Layla go and tell him a good night story, and then the story they're just floating throughout.
Yeah, the story is basically that what is it, a rabbit and a frog or something?
Yeah,
and then they're just basically having a little flirt, trying to explain the situation to each other whilst telling a story.
Yeah,
and it kind of works.
It does. They want to kiss, but they can't. So Scuba Steve gets a kiss instead.
Yeah.
Julian attends his first day of school. So yeah, he's dropped off at school. Nothing much happens here. Then Brooks finds a foster home for Julian and leaves Sunny a message on the answering phone. Sunny then rings Layla to arrange to meet and do her laundry. I'm just powering through here.
Yeah, no, power through. There's not really much that goes on here. It just is like...
I thought he rings her up and she's like, "Oh, I'm at work, but I need to do my... I thought she worked in DC.
No, so, yeah, she's a lawyer, but she goes to she works on a case in DC later on.
All right, okay.
Yeah, because like the guys are saying before, they're all lawyers, and I think Peter Dante's character is saying he's been in like 3 different cities in like 3 different days.
All right, okay. So they do travel around a lot.
Yeah. So I think it's implied that they're just kind of all around and they're everywhere.
All right, okay.
Yeah.
And then we don't need a...
It would make sense. Yeah, fuck it. It is what it is.
And then we at the laundromat, Layla says, "Oh yeah, the biggest influences in a kid's life is his friends." So Sadler takes and he's like, "Okay, I need to go meet these friends." So next thing is he's just hanging out with the kids drinking Yoo-hoo at the park at the school. It's just like 4 different kids and this 30-year-old man just hanging in the park. The kid with glasses is Adam Sandler's nephew.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he pops up in a couple of movies throughout as well. And this kid, he just goes, "I have a belly button." And sounds like, "Oh, I have a belly button too."
I have a belly button. Yeah, what he's asking these kids if they've got any crack or if they've got any rum or any booze, and what are they up to? Why are they corrupted?
Then Sandra just goes,
"Do you have any drugs?" "I have a belly button."
And then I got the quote. Yeah. So Sandler goes, "We love Yoo-hoo with a little bit of rum," and this kid goes, "What's rum?" It's like Sandler then goes, "You don't know what rum is?" And the kid just goes, "Rumpelstiltskin."
That's right, Rumpelstiltskin.
And then Sandler just leaves these kids alone because I'm guessing they're not that bad of an influence.
He's figured out they're not taking drugs and drinking at age 5.
Yep. and then we get the grocery store scene. At the grocery store, Sandler just throws cans on the floor to get a discount.
Yeah, it's like,
and he just goes,
"Dented cans are 50% off." He's got to save some money, and he's just launching cans at the floor.
Microsoft down 3 points. And then they run into Corinne, and Corinne's annoyed that Sunny is seeing Layla.
Yeah.
Then after this, Sunny and Layla go on. Do you want to mention the supermarket scene anymore?
I mean, it just... What is it he says to her at the end? He's like, "Don't go near the freezer aisle or your boobs," or "Don't go near like the milk aisle or your boobs will freeze," or something.
Yeah. Well, this scene was probably my favorite when I was a kid. I used to think this was so funny. Throwing cans on the floor.
Just throwing the can. And he's because he's what is it? He's got a rash on his arm, and he's like, "Yeah, scratch it up."
Yeah. And then Corinne puts some frozen peas on it. And it's like,
yeah,
it's common sense. If you scratch a rash, it's just going to spread. After this, Sunny and Layla go to Little Italy for food. After food, they both share a dance, and Tim Hurley is singing again. And then as Sunny drops Layla off home, they share a kiss, and Corinne catches them, and she's like, "That's the most disgusting thing I've ever seen." Remember to go upstairs, and you didn't enjoy that, did you? And it's like, I don't know.
She's like, he's at the end of the scene. She's walking away. He's like, he's dirty and poor.
go upstairs and wash your mouth. And then, as they're on the date, Julian is being babysat, so he's with Mike, Phil, and Tommy playing I Win, which is a ridiculous card game. He's like, I've got a 6, I've got a 4, I've got a 3, and I've got a 2. I win. And then Arthur Brooks shows up looking for Kevin.
Yeah, who obviously is in China at this point on a trip.
Yeah, because
far away.
Somebody goes, "Oh yeah, Kevin's in China," and then Dante comes in and he's like, "Oh, Chinatown."
Yeah.
And then Sonny has a meeting at Julian's school, and then Sonny rethinks his parenting methods after Julian teacher complains about the habits he has developed due to Sonny's influence. So a kid brought in rollerblades for show and tell. So Julian decides to throw a stick in front of him, and then he eats shit. And then we just get this cut to a kid with glasses, and his arm's just in a sling.
Just the saddest looking kid ever. In a full arm sling.
He spilled glue on the floor, so he covers it up with newspaper and doesn't tell anyone. He's pissing in plant pots.
Yeah.
And then Julian's the smelly kid in class.
Yeah. He is now the smelly kid.
Yep. Due to this, Sonny wants Julian to study, but he refuses, and Julian wants to play video games instead. I've got a note here that just says, Nazo says, I mix up my L and my D's, which I don't know what that's in reference to.
I don't know.
But reading. They need to practice reading or something, and Nazo's like, oh yeah, I need to practice reading as well. I mix up my L and my D's. And then Sonny's like, okay, let's have a vote. Who wants Julian to study? And then Sonny and Nazo put up their hands. It's like, okay, who wants Julian to play video games? And Julian sticks up his hand. It's like, okay, it's 2-1. You got to study. And Julian just goes, that's not fair. This guy doesn't count. He can't even read.
It's so brutal, but it's such a good line.
And then
his vote doesn't count. He can't even read.
Oh. And then Sonny's like, okay, give me 2 seconds. Just look after the kid.
Yeah.
And then Scuba Steve's dad shows up, and he's like telling Julian that Scuba Sam visits Julian and encourages him to take a bath and study to keep Scuba Steve safe and to be accepted to the Scuba Squad. So this is quite a heartwarming scene. Sonny goes down, he puts on this full scuba gear, knocks on the door, and then Julian answers it, and then the music plays, and he just looks up and he's just in awe.
Yeah, he just can't believe it. His childhood hero is stood before him. And then,
he just says, so to join the scuba squad, you got to study and you got to be clean. And then like, okay, I'll do that. Then after this, Sonny and Julian agreed to be better. So they start bathing, they start studying, they start eating well. And then basically Julian just turns his behavior around completely. He's dressing well. So we get a montage here of Julian dressing normally. He's peeing in urinals. He's pouring milk through a little squirter thing rather than using the 25-gallon liter jug.
Yeah, they make little milk shift, like little squirty milk bottle.
Yeah, and then we get a reading.
This is probably my favorite scene in the movie.
Yeah. So what does Julian read? He's like, Constitution. Rabbit.
It's Constitution, something else, and then it's like Philadelphia.
Yeah. And then we get we get a Nazo practicing his reading as well, and he's like, "What
it's like pig, and then it's cow,
pig, cow, and then
cow, hip hop, Hip Hop Anonymous?
It's like, that's not fair. You give him the easy ones.
Why has he got all the easy ones? Hip Hop?
Hip Hop Anonymous?
Probably the most quotable line for this. So fucking good.
And then we're back in Central Park, and Julian's holding the sign that says, slow down to the skaters, because he doesn't want anybody to get hurt.
Yeah,
and then we just get
trying
Steve Buscemi going down the hill in his trolley, and he just crashes into the lamppost.
This is so good. He's fucking going in that trolley as well. That trolley is moving.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then after this, we get the Julian school play. The first kid up is like, "My name is Alexander Hamilton. I am the first Secretary of State for the USA. I was shot by Aaron Burr." And then Julian comes up. He's like, "Who's Julian Payton?" Benjamin
Was that
Franklin.
actually in the movie, or did you just quote that from Hamilton?
No, that's the actual movie.
Okay.
And that's how he sounds. And then Julian comes up. "My name is Benjamin Franklin. I invented so many things that we still use today, like the light bulb or whatever."
Yeah.
And then somebody just goes, "Okay, it's time to sign the Constitution. Who's going to go first?" And then all these kids just run up to this giant Constitution. Like, "I want to sign it. I want to," and it's just mayhem. And then Julian's just stood there in his spot, smiling, making Sonny and Layla proud.
Yeah, the only one.
Yeah,
just chilling.
And then after this, we're back in the apartment. Julian's playing I Win again, but this time he's playing with Nazo and Sonny. And like, "I got a 2, I've got a 2, I've got an ace, and I've got a jack.
12, has he?
I win." And then Nazo just goes, "This is bullshit."
How does he always win? Every time.
And then as they're playing this, there's a ring at the doorbell. Brooks arrives to find out Sonny impersonated Kevin and threatens to arrest him if he does not hand over Julian.
Yeah, so we get like a real switch in
tone.
In like tone, yeah, sorry. Thank you. In tone here of movie just completely kind of switches from like, well, they're all having fun, they're getting better, he's becoming a good dad, they're having a great time together. And then we realise that the social services have figured out who he says he is, and he's actually not this kid's father.
He's not Kevin Garrity, he's actually Sonny Koufax.
Yes.
So Arthur Brooks arrives like, "Oh, Mr. Koufax." And then as they're having the conversation, Nazo comes up and he's like, "Oh, Sonny, I'd love to help, but my what does he say? I've got it here."
He says, my status in this country isn't exactly legal.
Yeah. And then Sonny explains to Julian what's happening and that he's got to go with Arthur Brooks. And then as he's getting dragged away, he just goes, "I wipe my own ass. I wipe my own ass." And that's kind of
this is really sad because he just can't understand that like it's like not his fault.
Yeah, like it is very heartbreaking. This part, and then Sonny agrees and like Julian gets taken away, and then he rings up Layla straight away. He's like, "Layla, what can we do?" And she's like, "There's nothing much we can do." And then they both have an argument, and Layla's like, "Listen, like this is exactly why I didn't want to get involved. Like I had plans, and then just one day, this kid comes running up to me in the park, and you follow, and then this wasn't supposed to happen." Yeah. And like I had other things planned for my life. And then Sonny's like, "Oh, do you think I planned for a kid to be dropped off my door 9 a.m. in the morning? No, I didn't. But I fell in love with this kid, so we've got to do something to get him back."
Yeah, he gets like really serious, and we're in now. He knows he wants to fix the situation.
And then in the court, in the massive courtroom scene, do you know who the lawyer is for Arthur Brooks?
This guy looks, fuck knows. I know his face.
So
don't know who he is.
This guy is Stephen Brill. So he's going to pop up as a writer director later on. Like he directed Little Nicky, Mr. Deeds, and like a couple of the later ones for Netflix. But we've met this guy before as the priest from Going Overboard.
Fuck me, the priest in Going Overboard.
The guy was like, "Okay, open your pages to Psalm 29, page 29, Psalm 16, Red Sox 1, Yankees 4.
Oh, yeah. Fuck me, I've purged that movie from my brain.
But
Jesus.
This guy also wrote Mighty Ducks 1, 2, and 3.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't know him then. I feel like maybe I thought I knew him. Maybe I thought he was someone else, but maybe I just know his face from just this movie.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, he was in Going Overboard. And have you ever seen Without a Paddle?
Yeah, great film.
Who's in with
Seth Green, the guy that plays Shaggy, can't remember his name.
Matthew Lillard and Dax Shepard.
And yes,
Yeah. Well, he directed that as well.
really,
Yeah. That's a very good film. I enjoy
I love that movie. That's a movie that nobody really likes, but if you like it, it's great. But if you've not seen it, you would never watch it.
Have you seen Without a Paddle 2 When Nature Calls?
I have not, specifically because it didn't have any of the returning cast.
Yeah, it was dog shit. So
That's a good premise for a movie, though. Go find DB Cooper's treasure in the middle of fucking Washington.
It's class. It is such a good movie.
It is great.
In this courtroom scene, numerous people, including Mr. Hurley, Steve Buscemi, Nazo, and Corinne, testify on Sonny's behalf and tell the judge he is a good father.
Yeah, so we get this like big like court scene, like finale, final scene to this movie.
Yeah, Mr. Hurley is like, oh yeah, they came to the bar, and like they were always good together. And Naz was like, oh yeah, these guys go together.
Lamb and tuna fish.
But I think the big part here is Corinne, because she absolutely despises Sonny, but she's like, yeah, like he was good to this kid, like he was a good father figure, like he's done a lot to help this kid over the last couple of days, weeks, whatever it is.
I think it's like 6 weeks, or something like that. I think they say in the.
Oh, is it? Yeah, well, it makes sense.
Something like that.
Then Julian's called to testify as well, and he provides information regarding his background, like where he was born. He was born in Toronto. Oh, and before Julian goes, Kevin Garrity comes back, and
so we get he comes in later on, like halfway through,
and he joins the Sonny's team of lawyers. But then after Kevin comes back, Julian's called to testify, and then we learn that Toronto, but moved to Buffalo, and then Kevin's kind of like connecting the pieces in his head. And then Layla asks him, like, oh, if your mother had to choose a father for you, who do you think she'd choose? And Julian's like, oh, she'd choose Sonny. Then after this, Sonny calls himself to the stand, and the judge is like, okay, what one of your friends are going to come up and question you this time? And he's like, no, none of my friends. I'm going to call up the guy who thinks I'm the biggest piece of shit in the world. And if I can convince him that I'm a good father, I'll be able to convince anyone. And then he calls his own father to the stand, who's up visited from Florida. And then, despite Lenny's fervent belief that he is not father material, Sonny convinces him that he will not fail at being a father. Impressed by Sonny's sincerity, Lenny vouches for him. And then everyone just rings their dad. So, basically in this scene, like, Sonny's dad is like, oh yeah, he's not capable to do this, blah 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 blah. And then Sonny's like, but listen, most important thing about being a dad is being there for your kid when he screws up, and I'm willing to do that for the rest of my life for Julian, like you are willing to do for me. Look at this, like you've come up from Florida to make sure that I don't get arrested, or like you're here for me and I'm going to be here for this kid. And then he's like, oh my god, okay, he can be a dad, basically.
Yeah, he somehow convinces his dad that he's somehow in like 15 minutes he manages to convince his dad that he's not been a piece of shit for the last 30 years.
Yeah, pretty much.
And he's actually worthy of being a dad to this kid.
And then everyone just rings their dad and just says,
we just get this scene.
I love you, Dad.
Everyone, having a little breakthrough, having a little father-son moment, or bonding.
But nonetheless, the unconvinced judge orders Sonny's arrest. Kevin realizes he truly is Julian's biological to press charges against Sonny. Kevin is granted custody of Julian, and Sonny promises him that he will always be there for him.
So we just get we get the climax of the movie is just he's obviously going to, Sonny, Adam Sandler's Sonny Koufax is going to get arrested because basically just kidnapped this kid for 6 weeks, and then his obviously best friend and roommate, there's no charges being pressed, and he just has to basically explain to his new fiance why they now have a new child. Yeah, and he's like, 6 years ago we were in Toronto Hooters, and like that Hooters thing, I promise you, it's just a coincidence. They really loved Hooters in this movie. So Kevin's taken full custody of Julian. Sonny passes him over to Kevin, and then after the court, there's a scene in the park, and Sonny's like, listen, he likes this, he doesn't do this, like, don't do this to him, like, he loves doing this.
And and then he's like, oh, actually, he's your kid. You should raise him the way that.
Yeah.
But I don't, why is he passing him over when they live in the same house?
Good point. I'm not really sure about that. It's like, yeah, they're like he's literally like they live together.
Yeah.
Nothing's changing it.
And then Julian and Kevin just start
because they don't even mention about moving out or doing anything else.
Nothing like that. So
No.
after this evening, they're going to go back to the house, and Sonny's going to be there, probably with Nazo, and then they're probably going to have fun.
Yeah.
and then Kevin, Gareth, and Julian, they start to bond over some fun snaps, noisemakers.
Yeah.
And then we get a little title card saying 1 year later. Sonny has completely turned his life around. He's a successful lawyer, married to Layla, and they have a child of their own. Sonny is given a surprise birthday party at Hooters, attended by his friends, including Julian, who is happy with his new family. In his new family with Kevin and Corinne, and often meets up with Sonny for activities such as basketball.
Yeah, so we get this like final scene of the movie. We get the jump forwards in time.
Yep, and then everybody's happy.
Yeah,
basically.
Yeah, basically, Sonny. Yeah, he's now a lawyer. He's passed his. He's finally done the bar exam. Yeah,
and he's happy. Kevin's happy. Julian's happy. Corinne's happy. And then at the Hooters, Sonny then encounters Vanessa working there as a waitress, with Sid working as a cook, revealing that his 5-year plan did not go as she had hoped. Everyone but a frustrated Vanessa celebrates Sonny's birthday.
Yeah, so we just get that scene. They obviously all see her in the Hooters. She's a waitress. Her new boyfriend is the cook. He's flipping the burgers in the bag. And she's not happy.
No, not happy at all. And then
there's just a line at the end. Is that the guy with the old balls?
Yeah, I forgot about that line. And then the movie ends.
Yeah, good little ending. Little bit of closure towards the end.
I quite enjoyed talking about that movie. Before we give our ratings, though, Matt, we are going to introduce a little segment here called Creme de la Scene. So, you know how creme de la creme means the best of the best, or whatever it does. Our new segment is we're going to discuss our favorite scene of the movie, and we're going to call it Creme de la Scene.
Creme de la Scene. I'm here for it.
I think that works. So, Matt, thinking about this movie, what was your favorite scene?
My favorite scene in this movie lasts for about 2 seconds. And it's really near. It's right towards the end, and it's during the courtroom, and we're just in the courtroom, and everyone's like they're on. I can't remember who's on the stand, and they're talking, and for just 2 seconds, for no reason, the camera just cuts to Steve Buscemi's homeless character just eating a piece of melon, and it's the best scene in the whole movie. It's just absolutely so unnecessary. And I have no idea why it's there. It's just for 2 seconds. He's just eating this giant fucking slice of honeydew melon just during the trial. And it caught me off guard so much. I was just like, what? I had to rewind, and I was like, wait, was that actually just in there? Like, what the fuck is this?
So Sandler does that quite a lot in his movies. Like, there's always like
so good.
A scene with like a bunch of people, somebody's talking, and then in the middle of the talking, it just cuts to somebody you're not expecting. Like in The Wedding Singer, when Sandler's talking at one of the weddings, and he's like, "Oh, we better get onto this food, or this fat guy's gonna have a heart attack," and it just cuts to the fat guy, and he's like, again in this movie where it just cuts to the kid in his cast and sling.
Yeah, But in this, like, there's no, like, even for, like, that, like, with the cast of this thing, there's, like, a setup. There's no setup for this. Like, while the scene is going on, he's eating the melon, but the person who's still talking is talking in the background. Like, the scene carries on. It's just, he's eating a piece of melon.
Sandler is the king of 2-second cutaway gags.
Honestly, that was my favorite part of the movie. Like, just the two made no sense, but honestly made my day. That was so good.
Creme de la Scene.
That was my creme de la scene.
We covered my creme de la scene earlier on, and it's the scene where Julian gets his slingshot.
Yeah.
And then we just get that shot of like all the birds just on the terrace dead. And it is a bloodbath. It is like
it's just an absolute massacre.
Like we said, there's like 150 birds, and then when Jude's like, "Come see this," and then Sandler just comes out and his face just drops, and he's like, "Give me that. Go inside and do something."
Just anything else.
Yeah.
I
think Sandler's acting in that scene is I just think that's a very funny scene because like it is quite a serious moment, but it's still included in this montage of stuff that it all very, very funny.
Yeah, exactly. And it is his reaction as well makes it so much better of just like, oh shit.
Yeah. So that scene of this movie is my cream de la scene.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right.
Right.
Fair enough.
Yeah. And then the next thing we do is we like to rate this movie on a certain number of sandbags out of 10 and let the people know what kind of flood our sandbags could stop. So, Matt, last week you give The Waterboy an 8.3. What would you give Big Daddy?
Oh, so I'm going to give this... I don't think I can rate this any higher than The Waterboy, but I don't know that it deserves to be any worse.
Yeah, okay, that's fair enough.
I think I'm going to give him the same score. I think I'm going to have to go with an 8.3 for this as well. Because I really enjoyed this. I did have a lot of nostalgia whilst watching it. I know you said that you didn't quite feel the same way, but I had really had especially for the first half of it when I was like, because I started to remember more of the movie as I watched it, but just getting into the first half an hour, I couldn't, because I hadn't seen it for so long, I couldn't quite remember exactly what was going to happen. Yeah. So it was just a better experience. I just kind of got lost in the movie a little bit more than I thought I would. So that was really good. So yeah, I enjoyed this a lot.
That does make a lot of sense. With this movie, I felt like, even though there was a story, I just felt like a lot of the scenes were just put in to see Adam Sandler interact with a kid in different scenarios.
Yeah, I think obviously they got like the loose plot for this, and half the movies we've watched don't feel like actual movies. Like they just feel like skits. Yeah. Whereas this has the feel of like, this feels like just a flow of a movie, but like you say, it is kind of skittish. Like not skittish. It's like kind of like there's a lot of skits, but does kind of flow as well, and they kind of do mesh together.
Yeah.
A lot more than.
Yeah, no, I completely get that, and I think that skittish nature of the movie is what brought it down from what I was expecting. So last week I gave The Waterboy an 8.2, but I think this is more on par with The Wedding Singer, if not a tiny bit worse.
Fair enough.
I'm trying to think. So yeah,
because what we gave The Wedding Singer, like 7.7. 7.7.
So like, I really enjoyed this movie. I thought it was very funny, but a lot of it was just montages, you know.
there is like 4 or 5 montages in this movie. I'll give you that.
For that reason, I'm gonna have to give this movie a 7.4 out of 10.
Okay, I see.
Okay. So Matt, you're 8.3 sandbags.
They could stop the absolute massive amounts of piss in this movie. I reckon my 8.3 sandbags could withhold the piss, all of the piss in the movie.
And there's
a
lot of piss.
There's a lot of piss in this movie.
So much piss. And my 7.4 sandbags, they could stop flow of milk that Julian enjoys spilling on the floor.
That's a big flow of milk.
Yeah, that's a lot of milk. Yeah, we have been going for 1 hour 43. No doubt I'll cut some shit out. But before we end, do you have any pieces of trivia or some goofs there that we can run over?
I didn't have as much on this as I thought I would like to have had. But I mostly what I saw of this is, like we said, this movie made like what, $240 million?
Yeah.
The box office. classic Adam Sandler movie. Definitely got like 5 Razzies, and he won the award for the Razzie.
5 Razzies, and then no doubt he probably won the Best Actor award in the MTV Movie Awards.
Yeah, so he won the Blockbuster Entertainment Awards of favorite comedy actor.
Oh, okay.
But he won like 4 awards for this movie.
Oh, did he?
Teen's Choice Award,
Yeah.
Film of the Movie of the Summer, People's Choice Award, favorite comedy motion picture, MTV Movie Awards, Best Comedic Performance Adam Sandler, Kids Choice Awards, favorite movie, favorite actor Adam Sandler, Golden Raz Award, BMI Film and TV, and Blockbuster.
Oh.
So like, consider this was, who gives a fuck about the Oscars and the Golden Globes, really? But like back in the day, at least they had some more respect. This was never getting nominated for either, so I feel like this won the award, all the awards I think it could have done.
Yeah, that's fair enough. And it's all the same awards as well. Like eventually it'll get to like the MTV Movie Awards and the Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Awards, but I think we're going to see a pattern of Sandler being nominated for Razzies but winning
it's
the
so
awards
stupid.
like that.
It's just like, but I don't understand it. It's like, are they trying to be funny just because like we dominate him every year? Just we're going to do it now for the point, or like is this still trying to be like, oh no, we think Adam Sandler's shit, but he's also winning actual awards that people at this point do care about?
They're probably voting just because it's easy to shit on Sandler.
That's what I mean, though. But at this point, like, he's winning awards for the movie. Like, how are you gonna be like, this is the shit year, but it's beat out all the movies that actually wanted to win awards?
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know. I don't get me wrong. I don't think this movie is like award winning of a lot. There's definitely some flaws with it. Mostly, it does come with the tone, but. Nah, fuck off.
Yeah.
This doesn't deserve a Razzie at all.
The Razzies can fuck off.
The Razzies can fuck off.
I got a couple of pieces of trivia here. We could have not been discussing this. Jim Carrey, Ben Stiller, Jack Nicholson, and Chris Farley were all considered for the role of Sonny Koufax.
Interesting. That would have made a different movie.
I think the only one that could have done it, and I think the only one here that could have done it is Ben Stiller.
Ben Stiller would be good at this.
Yeah, I think Jim Carrey would be too wacky with it.
So would Chris Farley.
Yeah. But Ben Stiller, I feel like he'd be able to ground it like Sandler has done in this certain sort of reality.
Yeah.
If Ben Stiller was in it,
I agree with that.
If it was Ben Stiller, it'd probably be a kind of movie.
Yeah, just because there's just some horrible shit that happens in this.
Yeah.
But it's just done for comedic value.
And then another, I completely agree. There's some nasty stuff in this movie, and Sandler's character is quite a nasty person. And then
he's a bit of a wanker.
Another piece of trivia here is
shouting at Macca's employees.
Yeah, and shouting at kids and making fun of women for working in Hooters. But another piece here, originally Cody Guilford, who was 8-year-old at the time, was in mind for the role of Julian. His mother, Kathy Lee Guilford, refused the role after reading the screenplay and was quoted as saying, "I told my agent to tell Adam Sandler, who I like, that Cody pees at home, not on." So I checked this Cody Gifford's IMDb, and he has never been in a movie. So his mother really screwed him there.
That's so shit. Kathy Lee Gifford, the only thing I know about her is it's like a really old South Park episode where they just take the absolute piss out of her. Other than that, couldn't tell you who the fuck this person was.
Oh, she's been in quite a lot, this Kathy Lee. She's been an actress in 55 movies. By the looks of it, she's been in like a lot of Hallmark things. She was in Sharknado 5 as herself. Sharknado 3 as herself.
Of course she was.
Oh, she was in an episode of Sweet Life on Deck with Colin Dylan Sprouse.
Oh, so she'll work with the people that were in the movie, but it's not good enough for her own son.
Correct. She was in an episode of The Simpsons as herself. Yeah, well, she's been in quite a few. She was in Seinfeld as herself. The fuck?
What, did she just appear everywhere as herself?
Yeah, The First Wives Club as herself. That's very strange. And then, a couple of goofs before we end. During the Kangaroo song, the lyrics on the TV show Hop 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 all day, but the singer actually says hop 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 all night. when Sonny is teaching Julian how to do Chief's J Strongbow Sleeper hold, he does the head and arm. Strongbow Sleeper was never the head and arm fashion. And then at the end of the trial, Corin's shocked reaction upon learning that Julian belongs to her boyfriend makes no sense. Throughout the trial, the judge makes reference to Julian as Julian McGrath, a.k.a. Julian Garrity, and several statements were Sonny Koufax's impersonating Kevin Garrity. So there is no way that Corin would have put the pieces together to realize what the situation was.
I did notice that at the end. I thought that was a bit weird in the court scene where she's just like, what is going on? I'm like, are you not keeping up with any of this? Like, what do you mean?
And yeah, I noticed that as well. But that's all I got. Do you have anything else to say? This 2-hour-long podcast.
Fuck, this might be our longest one. I'd recommend this. I'd say go out and watch this. If you've not seen it if you've never seen it, definitely watch it. If you've not seen it in a very long time, 100%, just give it a go. Even if you don't like it, it's worth going back to.
Yeah, I think it's worth going back to, but hopefully you watch it like Matt does, just full of nostalgia.
Yeah.
Apart from that, I've got nothing left to say.
What do we got other than next week?
Yeah, do you want to let everyone know what we're doing next week?
Ooh, we've got a bit of a change up next week.
We do.
So, we are delving into our side series next week. Our first side series. What would you like to introduce the name of our side series, Gary?
Oh, yeah.
Because this is your creation.
So, like mentioned last week, we are going to look at the movies of Rob Schneider, who played Nazo in this movie. So we just thought that it was right to celebrate him going forward for a couple of weeks. And our mini-series is called Taking a Deuce, named after his character, Deuce Bigalow. And talking about Deuce Bigalow, next week we are going to be doing a double bill with Deuce Bigalow 1 and 2. So 4 weeks of Schneider to change things up a bit.
Just a little spice in the mix. And then we're back with Sandler. Back in a big way, one of my favourite Adam Sandler movies in Little Nicky.
Rob Schneider for a couple of weeks first. But apart from that,
we got Rob Schneider.
Follow us on our Instagram at Sandlerous Pod, Twitter at Sandlerous Pod. If you want, send us a message. I just want to say a thanks to Nick, who gave us some feedback for the podcast this week. We've taken things on board, so unfortunately I am going to have to go through and edit a couple of stuff here. But yeah, big thanks to Nick for giving us some feedback and letting us know what was working, what wasn't working, things like that. If you could let your friends know about the podcast, get them to subscribe to the podcast. The more numbers we get, the higher in the charts we appear, the more people get to listen. And then the likelihood is we'll be able to carry this on for longer. Also, send us an email at sandlerouspod@gmail.com. And don't forget to rate us on Apple Podcast and Spotify 5 stars. And just leave us a little review and we'll read that out on the podcast.
If you have any questions, I'm sure you can go and rewind.
Yeah.
If not, ask us in the comments.
Oh, shit.
But
okay.
Just look forward to Rob Schneider. We'll see everybody next week.
Okay. Bye, everyone.
Take care, everyone. Peace and love.